How's everybody doing?
Good.
Y'all ready to see some ghost stuff?
Yes.
All right. Appreciate y'all being so patient. Oh, we're only 1 minute late. Scrambling to get here, rushing to get here. Okay. So, my name is Chris Melancon, and I'm the founder of Paranormal Society in New Orleans. All right, this is Alexis. She's one of my investigators. This is Kevin, another one of my investigators, Mark. And we actually have a special treat today. Bloody Mary, the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. So she actually just released her book. She's going to tell you a little bit about that. So we're going to start off. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, how I started the group, what we actually do. And Alexis is going to tell you a little bit about herself, and on and on. But let's start down there with Mary. Mary, go ahead and tell them about your book and all that.
Hi, I'm kind of the representative here for the Spirit's Voice. I do old school paranormal, you might say, and use a lot of shamanic customs as well as modern paranormal tips. Where I believe that one should put the humanness back into paranormal investigation, not just treat them just as an experiment. I have many case studies for 22 years, and I've been doing this full time in the book that's literally not even going to be in the stores till Monday. So we've got some early copies here. But 22 years of experiences, one of my little jokes, but it's true, is I don't believe in one-night stands. I have long-term relationships with my spirits. So these are, they change over the years just like you and I do. And someday they're happy, and someday they're sad, and some days they teach, and some days they want you to get out of their way. So that's all represented in here. It's got our classic ghost stories in town and spirits that I know there, as well as some individual case studies. So I have some of those here for you if you're interested in them. And I work with Chris, teaching him some of the old school, and he's prodding me more towards the new school, so we find that balance. So I gave him some of my ghost pictures. I have some physical ghost pictures to show you. I'm Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, which means I'm kind of like a shamanic healer. It doesn't mean what the Hollywood stuff says, but don't mess with me anyway. But I have opened America's first ghost photo gallery in 1999 in New Orleans in the French Quarter, which is now, going more electronic. I have a new blog and a new vlog, of which Mr. Chris is the associate producer of. That should be starting within 3 weeks on YouTube, Bloody Mary NOLA. And we have a lot of new things going, and the ghosts are always a part of it. And here's the book. It's called Bloody Mary's Guide to Hauntings, Horrors, and Dancing with the Dead.
Now, Mary, you have I put up one of these pictures right here.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. That one's I can't tell from my angle if you can see the hat on his head or not. Can you see a hat from your angle? There's like an outline of a pirate hat. That is Jean Lafitte. A full chapter in the book is also where I meet my tours with the company. Very haunted pub. The oldest bar in the country is in New Orleans, and it's filled with spirits. And that is him. You can kind of see him looking to the side in the middle of that fleur-de-lis. You can see him looking to the side, mustache, goatee, and an outline of a brim of a pirate hat. I also have pictures of ghosts pulling up on horseback and pirates at the end of the bar, like right here, drinking. So they just kind of join in with everyone else. I call that the ghost watering hole. And spirits love spirits. So.
What is this right here? Pulling up right here. It's
I don't. Okay, you're asking me to be psychic. What's pulling up next? What's pulling up next? Maybe it's the.
Now the spirits don't want us to see the picture.
Open up, guys. Come on, stop messing with us. I have the old school stuff in my purse too. I got physical pictures I can show you later too. So many of these I took the old-fashioned way, which means I have a negative backup. I can't do Photoshop to save my life anyway, so these are not faked in any way. There were some that were said there, but I have others. I always say you ask permission before you take a spirit picture. When you know you're in a haunted site, I believe my old school tendencies come to give offerings. I give them a gift, whether it be food, whether it be liquor, and I wasn't kidding when I said spirits love spirits. Give them something that they can use as energy to manifest, and it brings the humanness back. So, you might give them a cigar, you might give them some candy. They get different things at different times. So my secret weapon is that I'm nice, and I'm persistent, and I'm very much against provoking. Evoke, invoke, be nice, ask. I can provoke you and get a reaction out of you that might not be your normal personality. So it's very hard to judge spirits on the provocation aspect. Oh, there you go. That one is You gotta see the little jester hat up top. It's kind of playing some long form of trumpet or flute. The arm that's holding it, the legs, and some people see what looks like a crutch, but I believe it's like a see-through bone. You see that there? The head at the top? The head at the top, I wish I had here. There's the head, that's the hat. See the pointy little things on the hat? Draw the hat, Chris, there we go. There's the head down below there, and he's blowing on something, and he's holding it. There's the arm, there's the leg, the body, and there's the legs going down. He was over a woman in a bar, another haunted bar in town, and unfortunately, even though I don't believe in the dark side as much as most, that person who's hovering underneath that picture died right after that. She got in a car with a drunk driver and died. She was telling me how much afraid she was of New Orleans and didn't like it here. She was in a band that was playing in a bar downtown. She came here on tour now and then. And she wanted to do a reading, she wanted to go out and do a ghost hunt, she wanted to do something, but they got late and they couldn't do it because they had to hurry up and get to another venue. But I was there at the show, and she was saying how she always, all of her friends loved New Orleans, but when she was here, she just felt something wasn't right. And she knew she was gonna die. And I don't think that spirit caused it or anything. But the whole concept, like with the angel and a trumpet, I think calling them home, opening the way kind of thing.
All right, let's move on down and get Mark.
Hello, how are you? My name's Marc Diez. I've been with this society for about a year now. Basically started out as a full-blown skeptic, didn't believe in it, kind of didn't believe it was real. That changed pretty quickly after starting to investigate places and doing a few local residential cases, and then we did some downtown as well. So had some pretty interesting stuff happen with some of the electronic equipment we use, REM pods going off, electronic, devices turning on and off by themselves, spirits answering questions back, through EVPs. So it's kind of, do you have that clip, Chris?
Yeah, I have it right here. Cafe Soul?
Yeah, this happened in Cafe Soul in the French Quarter. And
Mark's editing skills.
I'll let you. Can you make this light go off for us? This light I'm holding in my hand, can you make it move for me? Just go touch it, and it will light up. I heard something, what was that? I heard something, what was that?
Pretty cool, huh?
That basically turned me not into a skeptic anymore after hearing that. So, yes, that was my first experience caught on camera. It was pretty profound. We actually were at this place 3 nights. First 2 nights, nothing. Didn't catch a thing. Didn't catch anything going off, no devices turning on and off, or REM pods going off. It just so happened for about an hour or two before this actually happened, I kept asking, where are you? Who's here? General questions. And it was an old orphanage. The building's about 182 years old. It's about half a block off of Bourbon Street. It's I'm not sure what the name of the street it's on, but St. Louis. Okay. So Antoine, St. Louis. It was very interesting because that's the thing about the paranormal. You can basically go out there. It's not like every time you go out there you can actually catch something. It doesn't work like that. It's like they do it on their own time, and you got to be very patient. It's not like a thing where you just go in and say, hey, do this, and they cooperate. So sometimes it takes a while to catch this evidence. So I was very proud to catch that. But like I said, it was an old orphanage, and I think it caught fire. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, it caught fire probably about, I don't remember the exact date that it caught fire, but one of the interesting things about it is that the owners of the restaurant had started renovating, and when they started bringing down some of the old walls, pillars would start to form to where it was like horse stables. So it's like they had changed the horse stables. The first floor would be completely a horse stable, and the second floor is where the orphanage was. So it's like, it could be like a garage, but with horses, so people would pull in. This is 180 years ago. So when they started unveiling all this, and one of the kind of the most fascinating thing that caught me was that the type of tar that they used for the walls. It's like one of the most hardest kind of tar you would think of. It's kind of always fascinating, but it's just crazy how this was an orphanage, and we go in there and we catch a disembodied voice, and this is at 3 o'clock in the morning, in the kitchen, a half a block off of Bourbon Street, okay? You're not gonna hear, there's not gonna be a little girl anywhere. You know, I'll play it for y'all again, just so you hear this.
The first thing I heard before hearing that before, psychically,
Yeah,
was, oh, that's somebody doing roll call.
yeah.
Before I knew the place was an orphanage, so it was like, you know, here, present.
And that was
So
the thing,
that's
because
what
Mark was calling out, and Mark said he felt up, and he heard a little tap. And as you see, as our other investigator chief there, he said he hears like somebody's talking. Now we call that a disembodied voice. There's a difference between an EVP, which is an electronic voice phenomenon, which if I only capture something on my digital recorder and none of us hear it with our own ears, that's an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. But if we all hear it, it's a disembodied voice. So that's kind of the difference between that. But I'll let y'all guys hear it again. This is one of the best things that we caught.
And that tap was on my headphones. That was on my headphones. That was pretty.
Yeah, we'll go over it.
You make this light go off for us. This light I'm holding in my hand, can you make it move for me? Just go touch it, and it will light up. I heard something.
So you hear that, you know, so that's really cool. All right, so we're going to move on, and Kevin's going to introduce himself, and Kevin will talk about the orbs, the two orbs that we caught in the trailer being bell chains. Okay. All right, you want to talk about it first, and then we'll play it? Okay, go ahead and talk about it.
All right, hello everyone. My name's Kevin, and I've been on the team for close to 3 years now. And the funniest thing about it is you'll never believe where I actually met this guy. It was actually at a panel at this very convention 3 years ago. I was in the audience, and I was absolutely in love with the whole paranormal thing. But the thing is, I never really thought that I would meet somebody who didn't think I was absolutely out of my mind. But I actually had the fortune to talk to Chris, and after going to the Myrtles and doing a couple things by myself with her, I actually was able to somehow work my way up to join the team. So here I am now actually presenting when I was actually in y'all's seat not too long ago. But the most fascinating thing I could say personally is that, just like Bloody Mary says, I always take anything that can happen, if any opportunity is going to happen from investigating, is going to be that I'm going to treat the spirits as people, not just like a test to go out there and show everybody what I caught. I take it as a very personal experience, and if there's any history I can learn about the area prior to investigating, then I always take that into account and show them respect. So with that being said, there was actually an opportunity one time where Chris and I went to this trailer, and that's just the funny thing I want everybody to understand, is that just because you're interested in paranormal and you hear that a hotel that's 100+ years old had a crazy fire, people died, that's not the only place where you can have an experience, okay? It's simple. You can just go to like your grandmother's trailer in the middle of Kentucky or something, and you'll find some of the greatest stuff there that nobody will ever hear about. But in this particular case, this is an example of that happening. We actually went to a trailer of this lady who contacted Chris, and she said that she had some people die in that trailer from strange causes. We went there one night, and we were able to find some crazy things. So I don't know if...
Yeah, I want to share a little story before I show this. In this same room, we did it twice, didn't we?
Yeah.
We went twice.
Yeah, we went twice.
And the first night, we were sitting there, we were running a couple of devices in Spirit Box, and all of a sudden, actually it's on our YouTube channel right now, I didn't bring it with me, but you can find it on our YouTube channel. you hear this ungodly moan come out of nowhere, and it said, "Ooh," just like a fake, just like a whole, like, you know, generic kind of typical ghost, and he freaks out. Like, he thought it was a dog. I was like, "There's no dog in the room with us, dude. There's no dog. This was in the room," and I felt like a static charge on my knees. It's on our YouTube channel because I can only so much can make the list. We have a lot of stuff, so here. Now check out these orbs. Orbs are kind of controversial. Some people believe in them, some people don't. But what you're going to see here, now I'm going to have to guide you. Let me start this over here. Now right here, can you see this little guy right here? Okay, he comes from back here, all right, and then you see this one start to form. This one comes out of here. There's no power to this trailer. Her father was murdered in the trailer. It was actually a story on Dateline NBC by his wife and her stepmother, and her uncle had died of a heart attack in the trailer, and another woman passed away in the trailer. And we actually got a lot more evidence of actually her uncle's voice saying he loved her and missed her, and it's a lot of stuff, but you know, it didn't make the list, okay? All right, so here we go, pay close attention. You come right there. And the guy holding the camera at the time freaks out because what he just caught. It's like, oh my God. So now here comes the slow motion. Watch it, here it is right here. It comes up, and we call this an intelligent path. It's not flapping, it's not flashing, it can't be a bug, and it goes right there.
And you can see a trail behind the actual orb, which is a way to distinguish, you know, bugs and stuff, because bugs only used to have, or dust will just be one thing, but as you can tell, that thing leaves like a little trail behind, almost like residue or something behind the orb.
So I'll just let me play it for you real quick again. And pause it, and you see this trail right here. And we call that kind of like a plasma, you know, Mary, what do you call that?
People call that a vortex.
The vortex.
They used
It's
to
a lot of
call it a
energy
vortex,
right there, you know, coming through. And this one, again, there's no power in this house, in this trailer. And this one, his little friend over here, comes out and they go in the same direction. So that was pretty compelling. Even for the video camera guy who's an experienced paranormal investigator, freaked out. Oh God, we just caught gold, you know? So that was fun. All right, so we're gonna move on to Alexis.
Here, I'll show them that. Here's a picture of catching the trail in motion. I've got many pictures of the.
You could pass this around.
Or they can come up here after and I can show everybody. There's a bunch of them with that showing you the different aspects.
All right. We'll take questions after, okay?
I just want to wet a trailer walk.
Where was it? It's in Bell Chase. That's all I can say.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I joined this group about 3 years ago along with Kevin. And we were doing our own investigations before even coming to this panel. And one of them were the Myrtles Plantation. And we stayed there and there was no one else in the entire top floor. So it was kind of freaky on the way there. We were like psyched about it. Well, all we had was just a regular recorder. And this was right, I think it was like a month after the Ghost Adventures went and investigated the Myrtles Plantation. So we asked a question on the recorder, and we couldn't hear it with our own ears until we played it back. But we asked, "Do you remember Aaron?" And I heard a voice, a woman's voice come through, and it was a question. I was like, "Aaron?" And she repeated it back, and we could not hear that with our own ears. The entire night, we didn't think we caught anything. And this was the same night that we actually joined the team with Chris, because we were texting him the whole time, and at this point, we just got his number after the panel. So, and that's how we were able to join the team. But just a simple recorder. You could ask questions on the recorder. You may not hear it with your own ears, but you'll capture it. If there's a voice there, you will capture it.
Okay. This funny thing, I think you might have, when Alexis mentioned Ghost Adventures, you saw Mary giggle. I don't know, has anybody watched Ghost Adventures or heard of Ghost Adventures? Would anybody ever watch the New Orleans episode?
Yeah.
That was her house. That was her house that they got ran out of. Where
I've been
Aaron
on
was laying on the
three
floor.
different Ghost Adventures episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to do a new one with the new show for Nick.
Yeah. So we just to let you know that that's her house. Her house is considered one of the most haunted houses in America. Okay, so it's if not, especially in New Orleans.
I don't know if I can, but maybe, it's.
I'd say,
It's the encyclopedia of America's haunted houses, long before the Ghost Adventures.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But, it's quiet time right now, we're in quiet mode, but we, definitely have ghosts. And there's a huge chapter in here. They made me take out most of the stuff I had to say about the Ghost Adventures, personally. But I might personally tell you. And it wasn't mean, it was just giving them what they deserved, okay? But I will tell you this, they were at my house 1 hour of lockdown.
I love this story.
Till they called me to come back and get them. They wouldn't go back in the house until I held their hand. 1 hour.
Yeah, and they were tweeting, Aaron and Nick are actually tweeting 9 months afterwards saying they were still having bad dreams.
Not Nick, now Nick did, but Aaron and frickin' Zach put me in their book about, well, she's a powerful woman, be afraid of her, whatever. He blamed 9 months of problems from 1 hour in my house was what caused him. Yeah, it was just, he was like, whatever, dude.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Chris Melancon. I founded this group in 2012. I went on a few investigations with a couple local groups. It was actually here at Comic-Con in 2011, 12. I get my years mixed up. It was one of those years. I was walking around and I saw a paranormal table and they had this piece of device, a REM pod, sitting on there. And I just became fascinated with it. And I went on a ghost hunt. We didn't catch any evidence, but I was hooked. And by my seventh investigation, I caught my first piece of paranormal evidence. And I was in a trailer. The trailers seem to be really haunted, okay?
You know when that started? I swear to you, the stories about, the only stories after Katrina, because most of our ghosts have been gone.
Yeah.
The only stories after Katrina were all in trailers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was after Katrina that the haunted trailer thing began.
Yeah.
It was either the trailer's fault or they're formaldehyde from China. I'm not sure which one it is. One of them attracted the ghost to it.
So I was in the middle bedroom asking questions, general questions, holding a digital recorder. That's all I had at the time. I was literally running around with a flashlight, a K2 meter, and a digital recorder. And I heard footsteps going down the hallway into the living room. So I pursued it and I asked, is there anyone here? Because I could have swore I heard footsteps. And then all of a sudden, in my ear, a woman's voice said, yeah, me. And I was the only one in that trailer. And it was from that point on, well, to go back a little bit, I, checked the digital recorder and sure enough, it was there. So, from that point on, I was hooked. So we've done I've probably been on maybe 250, 260 investigations since then, so one of the things I want to show you is one of our couple of great pieces we have. Say the best for kind of last before we take questions. Is this EVP was captured in a basement in New Orleans. And those are rare. The owner of the house went around after Katrina and collected everything she could, everything she wanted, from an old piano to beads to masks. This whole place was just filled with junk. And this was probably one of the most haunted places I've ever been. Okay, and this is one of our EVPs that we captured. Now this is the EVP, not the digital recorder.
She's actually knocked that dog over and told her she was going to do it.
I did that.
Yeah. Somebody kicked the dog over?
I just did it.
Somebody kicked the dog over?
Now, this is...
I have something to say about that.
Yeah, I know.
And every woman in here will understand.
I called Mary, and this was, what, 3 years ago? This is
2, 3 years ago.
2, 3 years ago. I called Mary, and I said, will you come check this place out? And she comes in with a little doll, a jump rope, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it's hot. It's in the middle of the summer. It's 100 degrees. There's no AC, and it's dark. I'm talking people. There was only a handful of people that would go into this basement. It was that scary. Okay, it was so creepy. You could just feel the energy. She walks in there like it's nothing, sits down, pulls all this stuff out, the coloring book, and then she says, "Okay, bye." And I was like, "Okay."
I read her a story.
Yeah.
I read
actually, I'll let Mary tell them what you
Well,
say.
when I heard that, which sounded totally different today than it did before, the little dolls that say, "Ma, ma," when you move them, Like it's not a real recording device, it's got like a squeaky can in it, and it goes this way and that. I said, that's what that was. There wasn't somebody down there with that type of doll. It was still a ghostly thing, but it was like, Mom. The guys, they say, might recognize what I'm talking about because it was like the end of the original Planet of the Apes, when he picks up that doll and behind him goes, Ma, out of the rubble and that. So it was the ghost of someone playing with a doll. But the weirder thing is, I was working with her later, and I had a dream. I had a dream about two twins dressed in harlequin outfits in the driveway that went and took a vision, not a dream, the jump rope that I'd left and jumped with it. There was a very heavy-set, black mammy kind of woman sitting in a rocking chair during this going on, rocking and pointing to the upstairs. And I told him about that, and he forgot to tell the lady. Well, the interesting thing was, it turns out she didn't know it, but she was pregnant with twins at the time. You can have spirits of the unborn already there. And I believe that was part of what was going on. The spirits of the unborn. And others. And they want a doll.
Okay, here's another.
Curious with us right now.
All right, a little bit of background on this, okay? I don't know if we're going to be able to show you all of our evidence today. Everybody ever watch Paranormal Witness? The sci-fi show? Well, this aired this season. This is the case that aired, The Demon House, this season. If you go and look for sci-fi.com or go on Paranormal Witness and look for The Demon House with AJ and Janine. I was the investigator that worked the case. And this is a red pod right here. Okay, what this does is this puts out a perimeter of electromagnetic field and static electricity. And if anything comes near the antenna, it goes off. Okay? And it doesn't go off, it's random. You see how sporadic it is? Okay? Now, with this entity was so powerful, and mind you, this thing possessed her, and it took 4 exorcisms to get it out of her. And this thing was probably the most evil thing I've ever come across in my life. Okay? And truly, this case traumatized me. Okay? Along with the family. And I had an investigator quit after the first night we investigated. Actually...
Is that the one you called me on when I
yes,
first met
that
you?
was the one. And that's out in Springfield. And so actually, right after this happened right here, one of my investigators, who was a 52-year-old Marine, okay, still in the Marines after 20-something years, tough as an ox, was found passed out in the back of his car, and he quit that night. He never came back and investigated again. Now, what you're going to see this thing do is not only blow up the K2 meter, okay, but isolate the yellow light to answer no, which is impossible. Impossible, okay? So watch this.
Thank you.
It's answering yes right now.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to ask you the exact opposite of the question and see if you know how to communicate with us and make the yellow light up. Are you playing with us right now? If it's a no, make the yellow light up. Dude. Thank you.
What?
Thank you. Curious with us.
See, that has to be impossible. If you see how that... Now, I've sat here for like hours messing with this thing, trying to get the yellow license plate, and if I take my hand, and if I get it just... You gotta mess with it. All right? This thing was able to do that without anything being around it. No... Now, you can't set this off and manipulate it with like walkie-talkie and radio waves and all that, but there's no way to isolate the yellow light. I mean, put Neil deGrasse Tyson in front of me. There's no way, okay? So that's kind of like the most compelling evidence. So, and I think we're going to show one more. Let me see what this is. This is the same basement, okay? It's the same basement with the girl mommy EVP. And we had just had an intense hour-and-a-half long spirit box session down there. And everything was crazy. We all packed up our stuff and got everything and went back upstairs to call it a night. And one of the investigators forgot his digital recorder. So I said, let's go back down there and get it, okay? And I didn't know that this REM pod right here, I forgot down there, didn't realize I did it. And while I was walking down there to go get it, because he couldn't go by himself, okay, was this.
The dog still standing up. Is that you whispering?
No,
Come on, dude.
no, I said okay. I said okay, it was a whisper.
Now, if you see, if I can catch it on camera, I can see the antenna right there, but I left my REM pod down there, didn't remember it. The spirit using a disembodied voice in my ear, I felt it was cold, it was staticky, it felt like a cold electric type of feel, okay? And it said REM pod. And obviously you hear it's a creepy voice, okay? And you heard the guy's voice behind me. He's kind of this high pitched, kind of talking like this. Come on, guys. And that's how he talked. That wasn't his voice. I know that dude, okay? That wasn't his voice. So, I mean, I'll let you hear it one more time.
Helpful spirit.
Yeah, that was nice.
The dog still standing up.
There's a backstory about the dog.
No,
Come on, dude.
no, I said okay. I said okay, it was a whisper.
You know? That wasn't his voice, okay? That wasn't him. And I believed him at first. It was just kind of like so shocking to actually experience that, to know like deep down inside that wasn't him, because I know his voice. And to know that was in the feeling. When you go into a situation with a spirit, you know, you ever feel like the hairs on the back of your neck kind of stand up? You know, you get into that situation. When you're in a room, it could be nothing. You could be asking questions, doing spirit box sessions, doing everything, nothing. And all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, everything changed. The whole entire room changes, the atmosphere changes, it gets cold.
Well, that one had more than one spirit down there. The kids were just one
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
Was that
the kids.
mean
There was a
guy
couple
over-
of them.
Was that mean guy over
Yeah.
the side that abused his wife, too?
There was a woman. We actually have so much more evidence of this basement. It's ridiculous. And we actually have, after we left, we just leave a digital recorder down there, and then you hear two voices. A guy says, "Where are they?" And you hear a woman's voice say, "They're gone," you know, and stuff like that. So I mean, how can people be skeptics? I don't know. No, I don't. I don't think I have that. Here. No.
You have a lot online, right, that people can go to. What's that URL again?
Oh, it's www.paranormalsocietyneworleans.com, and you can go to YouTube/Paranormal NOLA. It's the same as our Facebook page to find us. So I guess we're going to start taking questions.
What's the scariest spot y'all ever played? Scary.
Well, it had to have been.
That's okay. I was like, it's always a question, just.
It's okay. It's well, for me, it was the demon house, kind of the episode of Paranormal Witness, where there was two pentagrams that were drawn on the floor in the second floor bedroom, and I had squatted down and marked a cross through them, and then I had said, you know, this is Jesus' house. I was an idiot, okay? If you're not trained in this stuff, then you can't go in there.
He called me later.
And be like, you know, be gone, demon. Like, who are you? You know, ain't nobody. I mean, like, I learned stuff the hard way, okay? When I stood up, I had another investigator next to me.
Pentagrams are for protection. You should have stood inside the pentagram.
Well, whatever this was, it was used to bring this thing in, okay, apparently. So they were calling it pentagrams. So when I stood up, the whole room started to violently vibrate, shake like an earthquake was happening. I literally lost my balance. And then I looked over and I saw about a 3 foot by 4 foot spiral black cloud spinning clockwise. And it had 2 eye indentions, and I heard this enormous roar. And my heart started to vibrate, just like how I was feeling, and I fell to my knees, and I lost my breath. So that was probably the most scariest moment I've ever been. I've been in some pretty scary moments, but that was probably the most scariest one.
Has the spirit ever followed you back?
Yes.
That's what he called.
That's what I called her. I called her. That's how we met. I called her and said, help. You know, she helped me out. But it happens sometimes. When I go to a case now, it's kind of like when you come back, you still have that residual energy on you. So it's kind of like activity will kind of happen at my house a little bit afterwards when I come back, but then it'll die off. And that's for me. It doesn't bother me. I have spirits in my house. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. If they want to sit there and watch me scratch the back of my head watching TV, that's fine with them. I mean, it's fine with me. I don't care. You know, I live a really boring life.
I went to Tennessee. What was it? Wasn't there? It was the military hospital in Memphis, and when we went there, we had no activity whatsoever. At least we didn't think we did. But when I got home, it's like hell broke loose. It was just, I think like 3 spirits was in my studio when I got home. All my devices were going off like crazy. So they definitely do follow you back. You know, I think they latch on for a little while and then they'll leave you alone, but it's definitely possible for sure. I've had that experience. Absolutely.
Cleansings are outrageously important. You don't have to be on a ghost hunt for something to follow you home or a ghost tour. There are spirits everywhere that we walk. In this century and the last, there people are washing their hair more, washing their clothes more than they did, but they don't wash their aura. They don't cleanse their spirit. That is a regular thing that is part of the old school stuff I was talking about. Something as simple as a salt bath, by praying into the salt and dunking under head to toe for a moment, can get residual energies, negative things that you step in, which might be from people that you hang out with, you know? It'll help clear that off. To do that on a more regular basis in some careers more so than others, like ghost hunting, but also like being a nurse or being a doctor. You're around death, you're around problems. You know, you bring your work home with you. Literally, you're around sickness. This can affect you. You have to do your spiritual cleansings. I told that to those Ghost Adventure guys 4 or 5 years ago when I did my first show with them. When it came back this time, Aaron told me he had never done one single cleansing the entire show. And I was scolding them about that to the beginning. He said, actually, I changed my mind and decided I'll start collecting them now. You know, so it's like, you know, action figures or some shit. He said now he's going to start collecting spirits, and he said he had a Jamaican voodoo priestess, and he had this and that at home, and all these other things. It's like, not the proper way to go about it. You know, it's not like a collection. You know, so yeah, so then the 1 hour in my place is what did it, or was it the 5 years of never doing a cleansing and provoking spirits? You know, be smart. Do regular cleansings, you could do that with smudgings. Do not think that sage is the answer to everything, people. Sage doesn't do hardly anything but a little cleansing. That is not what you cleanse your house with. That is just for maintenance, okay? There are many things that you do, but salt baths are very simple. Sea salt, earth salt, blow into it, pray into it, dunk under once a month or more if you're stepping into a heavy situation. Acid to fetus for the heavy shit. You got something really bad, smells like rotten eggs, kicks out demons in a snap. And a variety of other things that you can do to cleanse your house, dragon's blood, copal, things like that. For quick answers, the rest I give to Chris.
Okay. Next. You right there, sir.
For the demon house, did it ever have to identify itself or anything? Did it say what it was, who it was?
There's a few different theories, and the case was very controversial. We brought in
It's Masonic.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I mean, I knew that the second you called me.
Yeah.
And the pentagrams aren't evil.
And that was actually, there's a lot of like eye symbols pointed all over the place, you know? And it was crazy because we had all as a group started to pray, you know? And the thing is, I don't provoke. I don't try to provoke. We don't provoke at all. So when we went in there, we had all started to pray. And you heard a woman's voice. When we got to the Lord's Prayer, you heard a woman's voice saying, into temptation. And it was 5 guys all praying. And it was so this thing was actually transforming into other things to try and, you know. Yeah, she went through 4 exorcisms, you know. And there's a whole back, I could write a book, you know. Apparently I don't have time. I think we only have a few minutes left. I think we can take another question. If ever been where?
On a case where there were no spirits at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it
That's
happens
quite
all the
common.
time. Oh, yeah.
Or, you know, even if there doesn't mean there weren't spirits there at one point, but they're not at the same place at the same time every day. It's like you're not home now.
Yeah,
You might be there tomorrow.
Places I worked in the places, some of the most haunted places in the country. I went to Moundsville, to Western State Penitentiary. It's one of the most haunted places in the world, they say, and we didn't catch anything. We didn't feel anything, didn't eat anything at all.
It's a lot to do with the people as well as the place and the timing, the people that you're with, that can be triggers. You could look just like somebody they do. You could be related to them. That'll wake them up.
I think we have time for one more. Yeah, one more question.
They say you're married. Your house is one of the scariest houses you've ever lived in.
I don't say that.
Or did you purchase it?
It was already haunted. I brought my work home with me, and I have a haunted collection. All of the above. I did not, I found out later from some of the neighbors that they also knew it was haunted, but I did not know that when I moved in. I saw the spirits directly. They showed me the place when I needed a new place, when some bad stuff was going on with some new neighbors, bothering my kid, when I was a single mom. And I drove by this place, looked in the yard, and there was an old statue with like a nymph goddess in it or something, and the statue turned to me and like invited me in. So I parked the car and pulled over. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. They got that part done too. Yeah, yes, I did. Oh, she was asking for a while too. What was your question?
Prior to becoming those investigators, did you ever have a personal experience that kind of got you into?
I think I would say all of us, right?
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you
never,
didn't?
I never had an experience.
I have since I was a child. So
Until my
everybody's got
6th
theirs.
investigation, that was my first
So you just
experience.
went into it because you thought it was interesting.
I fell in love with the equipment. That's what I mean, I fell in love with
See, that I
was
don't like.
just
I'm not much in love
why?
with equipment.
Like, why? Because I talked to a few people that I really trusted, that I really, respected, and they're telling me, spirits, and they're having this experience, and I was like, well, I want to experience that. I want to try it. And I was getting very frustrated by my 6th and 7th investigation, not catching anything. And when I finally, caught that, I was like, yes! It's like, and then everything just kind of fell into place after that, fell into place after that.
Fishing.
It is like fishing.
You can't always catch something.
Sometimes you catch a big old bass. Like
And it depends on the worm
sometimes
you
won't
use
catch
too.
nothing,
Trigger optics are very, very.
No, that's true. Like, for
I don't use those words. I hate those words.
like her.
I call them gifts. Trigger optics make it more of an experiment. I give them gifts that they get to keep.
The history to know the knowledge of the place and where you're actually at, what actually happened there.
Pros and cons on
Yeah,
it.
going to some of the most wonderful historic places in the country is really great, so I really love that. And the places in New Orleans, there's buildings that are hundreds of years old. I just walk up to, put my hand on it, just because now I'm connected, One more question, we got the little kid right there.
You ever got attacked by the spirit?
I've never been attacked, never scratched or anything.
I have.
Pushed. I've had something thrown at me, and it's on camera. You see me freak out. And so I was doing a spirit box session in that basement, and it was just so intense. I mean, it was just like a roller coaster ride. When you have that white noise and the static going too, it just really disorients you, And it's kind of like a wild ride.
Well, that's
especially with the
interesting
energy.
because I totally dislike white noise, and so do most of the spirits, but the way you just described it describes it the same way as old school and shamanic that would have used the drum beat to kind of get you out of your body. It's the same. You
It's kinda
can use
old
the white
rhythm.
noise where the others, older school, used the drum beat,
Yeah.
which I still use.
And so something was thrown at me and hit me in the back, and I turned around. And then the guy I was investigating with, they came and touched me in the back. He was like, "You okay?" And I jumped up. I was like, "Not now, I'm trying to figure this out, And when you're in night vision, you're looking through a camera, and there's pitch black everywhere. You can't see a foot in front of your face. And all you can see is this little bitty screen, especially back a couple years ago, we had little cameras, So, yeah, so that's the one time I've been attacked. Anybody else?
I think they're just trying to get my attention more than anything. I've never personally been attacked, but I've had things like just drop from the ceiling basically right on top of me. But I think it's more of like trying to get my attention than trying to attack me. So nothing like major.
Right there, see? He's been following me this whole time.
So that's about it. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I've had instances where I've had to walk out of a house because for some reason, I can't describe it, I just feel sick, like I'm totally sick. And it could be all mental, but at the same time, like it happened right after this one guy was telling me that he had keys and sunglasses grabbed out of his hand and thrown. And I asked the question, we had the spirit box on, I was like, And I kind of had a little bit of force to me because I was like, are you the one who's grabbing this guy's sunglasses out of his hand and grabbing him out the keys? And with the spirit box, it was kind of like a smart answer, kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, what? And then one of the devices went off, and after that, I felt like because I did that, it kind of was trying to show me who was boss. And after that, I just felt a really heavy feeling on my chest, and I started to feel like a little woozy, like I was having trouble breathing. And at that moment, I remember just telling him, I was like, dude, I'm not feeling okay. Chris was like, dude, you need to go outside, take a second. And I kid you not, I felt like I was about to throw up. I was like,
Yeah.
That happens all the time, and it's not necessarily them trying to do something to you. It's the concept of you connecting so closely with the spirit that it kind of throws your body off. So it's like you're getting dizzy, therefore nauseous. Hence, the easiest thing, and I recommend this in the book a lot of times, is carry crackers with you, something with salt to ground you, to help with the nausea part. Florida water, I'm a big advocate of that. New Orleans people use it for football, but we use it for spirits. People get rid of spirits as well as call spirits. So if something gets on you, cup that in your hand, and you say, "Gone," it's gone in a second, at least when I say it. So they're very simple things that you should carry. I carry a lot of different equipment than you guys do. I carry the saltines, I carry the Florida water, I carry the rituals, I carry the offerings, and a camera, and a few things. Because you have to be able to be balanced in order to be able to step between the worlds, and that is exactly what's going on. When you're doing an investigation, it's not just an investigation, you're kind of getting between the worlds.
All right, guys, that's our panel. Thanks for coming out and seeing us tonight. One of us ask questions, come on up, and Mary has her book for sale right now.
It'll be the first sales of this book. Who's going to be number one?